Welcome back to my channel. Mystic Empires. What if everything you knew about history was a lie? What if a single, abandoned city held the key to a secret that could change your life forever? Today, we journey to the clouds, to a place where stone whispers and the wind carries the echoes of an empire that vanished into thin air. We are unraveling the story of the Inca, and the enduring, soul-shaking mysteries of Machu Picchu. This isn't just a history lesson. This is a story about human potential, about what we are capable of achieving, and why the greatest legacies are often those that are most mysteriously lost. Picture this. It is the early 20th century. A young, ambitious explorer named Hiram Bingham, led by local guides, is pushing through the dense, tangled undergrowth of the Peruvian Andes. The air is thin, the climb is brutal. He is driven by rumors, by legends of a lost city of the Inca, a place called Vilcabamba. And then, he emerges through the mist. And what he sees steals the breath from his lungs, a breath already strained by the altitude. There, draped across a saddle between two jagged peaks, lay a city of stone. Not ruins, not rubble, but a city, perfectly preserved, as if its inhabitants had simply stepped away for a moment. Terraces cascaded down the mountainsides like giant stairways for the gods. Temples and palaces stood silent and proud, their granite blocks fitting together with a precision that defied logic. This was Machu Picchu, the old peak, and it was a secret the mountains had kept for over 400 years. Who built this impossible city? And more importantly, why did they build it here, in one of the most remote and inaccessible places on Earth? To understand that, we must first understand the empire that birthed it. The Inca Empire was a phenomenon. In less than 100 years, from the early 1400s to the 1530s, they exploded from a small kingdom in the Cusco Valley to become the largest empire in the pre-Columbian Americas. They called it Tawantinsuyu, the land of the four quarters. It stretched for over 2,500 miles, from modern-day Colombia down to Chile, encompassing mountains, deserts, and jungles. They built a network of roads that would put the Romans to shame, over 25,000 miles of them, traversing some of the most treacherous terrain on the planet. But their true genius wasn't just in conquest. It was in connection. They connected people, they connected landscapes, they connected the earth to the heavens. And this, right here, is the first inspiration we can take from them. The Inca did not see themselves as separate from the world around them. They were part of a living cosmos. The mountains were gods, called Apis. The sun, Inti, was their divine ancestor. The earth itself, Pachamama, was a sacred mother to be revered. Every rock, every stream, every breath of wind was alive with spirit. And this belief system wasn't just philosophy, it was the blueprint for their civilization. Their agriculture, their architecture, their entire society was built on a foundation of harmony with the natural world. They didn't fight the mountains, they joined them. They didn't level the land. They sculpted it into terraces that prevented erosion and created microclimates for growing food. They worked with the forces of nature, not against them. And this brings us back to the stone. The stone of Machu Picchu. This is where the mystery deepens, and the inspiration truly begins. Look at the construction. The Inca were the undisputed masters of stone. They used no mortar, no iron tools, no wheels. Yet, they carved and shaped massive blocks of granite, some weighing over 50 tons, and fit them together so perfectly that you cannot slip a credit card between the stones. Not even a blade of grass. This technique, called ashlar masonry, is so precise that these buildings have withstood centuries of earthquakes, while modern buildings in the region crumble. Why? Because the Inca understood that rigidity is weakness. Their walls were built to move, to dance with the earth. During a quake, the stones in an Inca wall would literally bounce and settle back into place, perfectly intact. They built with flexibility, with an understanding that to survive immense pressure, you must be able to sway, not shatter. Think about that for a moment in your own life. How often do we try to build our lives to be rigid, unchanging, and permanent? We want solid ground that never moves. But life is the Andes. It is constantly shifting, quaking, and challenging our foundations. The Inca teach us that true strength isn't about being an unmovable rock. It's about being a structure so well joined, so intelligently designed, that you can withstand the tremors and emerge unbroken. Your connections, to your purpose, your values, your community, are your mortarless joints. The better they fit, the more resilient you become. Now, let's talk about location. Why here? Why build a city of such profound importance on a near vertical mountain ridge, shrouded in clouds? The practical reasons are stunning. The terraces created farmland where none should exist. The location provided natural defenses. But for the Inca, the reason was far more profound. It was celestial. Machu Picchu is a giant astronomical observatory. The Intihuatana stone, the hitching post of the sun, is a masterfully carved granite pillar. During the equinoxes, the sun sits directly atop the pillar, casting no shadow. It was a device to literally tie the sun to the earth, to ensure its return, to maintain the cosmic balance. Windows in the Temple of the Sun are aligned to capture the first rays of the sunrise during the winter solstice, illuminating a specific sacred stone. The entire city is in alignment. It is a map of the heavens, written in stone on the earth. The Inca were orienting their lives, their rituals, their very existence, with the grand cycles of the cosmos. They looked up at the stars and built a civilization down below that reflected that infinite order. This is the second powerful lesson. Look up. The Inca were not focused on the dirt at their feet. They were focused on the cosmos. They built their sacred city in the clouds, as close to the heavens as they could possibly get. They remind us to lift our gaze from the immediate, often trivial, struggles of our daily lives and to connect with something larger. Your purpose, your dreams, your why, these are your stars. Align your life with them. Build your personal Machu Picchu oriented towards your own North Star. When you do, every stone you lay, every decision you make, will have meaning and direction. But then came the end. The year is 1532. A handful of Spanish conquistadors, led by Francisco Pizarro, arrive on the coast. They bring steel, guns, and horses, things the Inca had never seen. But their most devastating weapon was invisible. Disease. Smallpox and other European illnesses raced ahead of the Spaniards, decimating the population and triggering a civil war. The empire, vast and powerful just years before, was critically weakened. The Sapa Inca, the emperor, was captured. Despite a ransom of a room filled once with gold and twice with silver, he was executed. The empire shattered, and this is the greatest mystery of all. As the Spanish pillaged and conquered, as they tore down Inca temples and built their churches on the foundations, they never found Machu Picchu. They never knew it existed. The city in the clouds was simply abandoned, slipping into the silence of the jungle, forgotten by all but a few. Why did the Inca leave their most beautiful city? We don't know for sure. Perhaps it was a royal retreat evacuated as the empire fell. Perhaps it was a sacred sanctuary for priestesses, the Nustas, whose purpose was extinguished with the fall of their world. The reason for its abandonment is lost to time, but its survival is its final, and most powerful, message to us. Machu Picchu endured because it was let go. It was not defended to the last man. It was not burned by conquerors. It was simply returned to the mountains from whence it came. The Inca understood that while empires rise and fall, the earth is eternal. The Apis, the mountain spirits, would reclaim their own. And in that act of surrender, the city achieved immortality. This is the ultimate inspiration. The legacy of the Inca is not in the gold the Spanish melted down. It is not in the battles they lost. Their legacy is in the stones that remain. It is in the breathtaking, humbling beauty of a city that speaks of harmony, precision, and a deep, spiritual connection to the universe. Your legacy will not be defined by what you clutch onto until your last dying breath. It will be defined by what you build so well that it can stand without you. It will be defined by the beauty, the wisdom, and the inspiration you leave behind. The empires of our own lives, our careers, our projects, our families, will all have their seasons. They will grow, they will flourish, and they will eventually transform. The goal is not to build something that lasts forever. The goal is to build something so true, so aligned with your highest self, that even in its passing, it leaves the world more beautiful than it found it. Machu Picchu is more than a destination for tourists. It is a beacon for the human spirit. It is proof that we can achieve the impossible, that we can carve our dreams into the side of a mountain, that we can align our lives with the stars, and that the most powerful messages are not shouted from the rooftops of conquered cities, but whispered on the wind through stones that have learned the secret of dancing with earthquakes. So the next time you face an impossible task, Think of the Inca. Think of the stone. Be flexible in your methods, but unwavering in your foundation. The next time you feel lost, look up. Find your celestial alignment. And the next time you fear an ending, remember the city in the clouds. Build something beautiful, something true. And trust that even in silence, your legacy will endure. This has been Mystic Empires. If this story resonated with you, if you felt that spark of inspiration, then like this video, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. What is the Machu Picchu you are building in your own life? Let us know. Until our next journey into the forgotten corners of history, stay curious and never stop building.